Throughout this semester, one major idea has become increasingly clear to me. Whiteness has been normalized as the default standard in American culture and beyond. This normalization is not just a surface-level issue. It operates deeply, shaping the way people see beauty, intelligence, morality, and even humanity itself. Across the readings we explored, a pattern emerged. When whiteness is seen as normal, everyone else is automatically positioned as different, as outside, and as lesser. Understanding this process has helped me see how racism today isn't just about explicit hatred, but about everyday ways of thinking and seeing how white dominance is upheld without needing to be named. Aesthetics. We saw clearly how whiteness was cemented as the standard of beauty, genius, and artistic excellence throughout American history. Art, media, fashion, and literature presented whiteness as the norm, so much so that over time, people didn't even recognize it as a racialized choice. From the whitewashing of historical figures like Cleopatra to the sanitized visions of white suburban life in art and media, whiteness became invisible, just normal. Meanwhile, non-white people were cast outside the frame, exoticized, vilified, or erased, but rarely ever seen as simply normal. This aesthetic dominance shaped not only institutions, but individual consciousness. It seeped into the everyday assumptions of what is beauty, credibility, or worthy of respect. As a result, even today, people subconsciously internalize the idea that whiteness is normal and anything else is deviant. This invisible cultural training quietly dehumanizes and marginalizes non-white people without needing overt racism to do the work. Jennifer Mueller's article, Producing Colorblindness, strengthened this understanding. Through studying white college students grappling with the realities of racial inequality in their own families, Mueller showed how deeply whiteness is protected through mechanisms of ignorance. Even when directly faced with evidence of white privilege, many students evaded the uncomfortable truths, rationalized their family histories, or clung to colorblind ideology. Mueller reveals that colorblindness isn't just simply not seeing race. It is a deliberate, culturally encouraged way of maintaining whiteness as the neutral baseline, while refusing to reckon with the structural forces that uphold racial domination. Adding another dimension, the Code Switch podcast episode titled, What About Your Friends?, explored how racial segregation seeps into our friendships. Despite America becoming more diverse, the majority of white Americans still predominantly have white social networks. Schools, neighborhoods, and workplaces subtly reinforce these divisions. And even when cross-racial friendships form, they are often burdened by unspoken tensions around race and privilege. I found it striking that minorities often build racial solidarity out of necessity, not exclusion, while white friend groups often maintain exclusion without even recognizing it. This reinforces the idea that whiteness organizes not just society's formal structures, but also people's informal worlds. It shapes who we trust, who we empathize with, and who we see as a part of our group. Putting all these pieces together, the pattern becomes undeniable. Whiteness has been installed as the default standard of being modern, moral, successful, and fully human. People who do not fit this mold, whether because of skin color, cultural background, or other visible markers, are continually seen, often unconsciously, as outsiders. Even when outright racist ideology is rejected, these assumptions persist in the background, quietly shaping life opportunities, social networks, self-esteem, and political power. Reflecting on all of this, I realize that true racial justice demands more than just good intentions. It requires actively challenging the invisible but powerful ways that whiteness structures everyday life. It requires asking difficult questions: who is centered in our histories, our media, our friendships, whose experiences are seen as universal and whose are treated as deviations. In conclusion, what I take away from this semester is that racial inequality is sustained not just by hate, but by the deeply rooted cultural project of elevating whiteness as the standard of everything. Until we disrupt that standard, until we stop equating whiteness with normalcy and start truly seeing and valuing other experiences on their own terms, the cycle of exclusion will continue.